concerned with the multitude of necromorphs, the tormented torsos that sprout from walls, or the towering space sphincter that causes terror. The thing that I feared most before delving into the Dead Space remake was that it would not live up to my fond memories of the fantastically horrific original from 2008. After spending over 12 hours within the revitalized USG Ishimura, I am pleased to report that of all the things to be legitimately feared within this haunted space hulk, that was not one of them. This new Dead Space improves upon the original in nearly every way, using a plasma cutter to remove its most unsightly appendages, while preserving the essence of what made its distinctly dismemberment-heavy shooting so special, and incorporating new character details to present its creepy sci-fi horror story in its best and most intimidating light. For those who missed it the first time, Dead Space takes the action-oriented brand of survival horror, established by Resident Evil 4, and evolves the combat with a combination of gunplay and the ability to throw objects with kinesis, and temporarily slow enemies down with a stasis power. It forces players to unlearn everything they know about killing zombies, as its hordes of agitated mutants must be blasted limb from limb, rather than being instantly killed with a headshot. It sets its strategic brand of slaughter aboard a doomed spaceship reminiscent of Event Horizon, and focuses on the determined plight of engineer Clarke, and his increasingly disturbing search for his scientist wife Nicole. Although it has spawned sequels, comic books, and even a spiritual successor in the form of 2022's The Callisto Protocol, in my mind, nothing has come close to surpassing Isaac's first heavy footsteps onto the deck of the Ishimura, at least, not until now. Motive Studio, the developer, has made substantial changes to Dead Space, creating a more visually stunning game. The main character's suit has been given a high level of attention to detail, making it stand out compared to the original version. The spaceship surroundings have also been enhanced with a more realistic and unsettling atmosphere, created through the use of weathered steel surfaces and walls covered in grotesque growths. The lighting in the game has been masterfully used, adding to the mood and keeping some areas shrouded in mystery, adding to the sense of fear. The Ishimura, the spaceship featured in the game, has been given a new look that is more striking than ever before. Additionally, the structure of the spaceship has been changed to encourage more exploration. When Isaac first arrives on the spaceship, the layout is similar to the original, but as the player progresses, they will notice significant differences. The player can now move freely between different sections of the Ishimura, and can travel between certain areas on foot, or by using new quarters. A new zero-gravity detour allows the player to steer Isaac through space manually, instead of moving him in a straight line from one surface to another. This more interconnected Ishimura creates a greater sense of place, and allows for backtracking to access previously locked doors. As Isaac's security level increases, the player can discover weapon upgrade schematics and other treasures, making the progression feel more like a murder-heavy Metroid. Furthermore, the storage rooms that could only be accessed by spending a power node in the original game are now gone, and instead require environmental puzzle solving, such as finding the right angle to disable a door's locking mechanism with a pinpoint shot. The combat in Dead Space also requires precise accuracy, focusing on disabling and disassembling each monstrous creature, rather than using unnecessary ammunition on their non-vital areas. The enemy designs resemble those from John Carpenter's works, but with some new variations. The acid-spewing variations of the standard spike-handed slasher are more frequent than in the original game, and they kept me on my toes, even after I had removed their legs. The hypermobile twitcher types are also more frantic, challenging my aim and stasis reserves. Additionally, enemies are now covered in detailed slime and entrails, which serve to show how close you are to removing a limb, which is useful when facing multiple enemies. Dead Space also employs new methods to maintain a high level of tension, such as using circuit breakers to redirect power between various elements of the environment, like elevators and gravity control systems, to complete objectives. For example, in one scenario, I had to choose to channel power to a maintenance storage room door, but doing so required sacrificing the lighting system, making my exit from the area more intense, as I had to rely on the limited beam of light from my plasma cutter, while Necromorphs lurked in the darkness. On the other hand, the game also provides more tools to even the odds, such as explosive canisters and spikes that can be thrown using the kinesis ability, as well as stasis canisters that can freeze a group of enemies, giving you a chance to either shoot them or flee. Motive Studio has kept the best parts of Dead Space, while revising and simplifying the weaker elements. The intense and exhilarating first fight against a regenerating hunter in a cryogenic chamber is just as effective now as it was in the original game. On the other hand, the unpopular asteroid blasting sequence in the first half of the story has been completely revamped. Instead of being confined to a gunner's seat and trying to fend off an asteroid shower with overheating cannons, players must now go outside and manually control the Ishimura's defense system by switching between cannons and calling strikes, while dodging asteroids that are headed towards the ship's hull. This change transforms the sequence from a tedious task to an exciting challenge, and is just one example of how the remastered game improves upon the original's shortcomings. There are also several other small but significant improvements, such as the way objective markers now direct the camera towards the waypoint, rather than the player's feet, the ability to purchase multiple items at once, instead of having to make individual transactions, and the ability to manipulate doors and control panels, while holding an object with kinesis, which allows players to carry an explosive canister between rooms in anticipation of an ambush. Another notable change is that weapons are now found in the game world, rather than being purchased from a store with credits. This allows players to test out the 7 different weapon types before committing to one, even though I still ended up using the same plasma cutter, line gun, and force gun combination as in the original game. The weapon upgrades in Dead Space have been improved, offering regular rewards for each power node invested. The upgrade interface is similar. All empty slots have been removed, providing a tangible benefit for each investment, whether it's an increase in clip capacity, reload speed, rate of fire, or damage. Additionally, by reaching the end of each upgrade path, special functions can be unlocked, such as incendiary rounds for the plasma cutter, or an increase in the size of the force gun's gravity swirling alternate fire mode, which enhance combat capabilities against the relentless Necromorph waves in the later stages of the game. By the time the final boss is reached, the player's favorite mining tools will be augmented with enough extra power to impress Tim, the toolman tailor. In the Dead Space remake, the protagonist, Isaac, has been given more depth and complexity through the addition of new details to his story. Players will embark on an entirely new side mission that involves uncovering the whereabouts of Isaac's wife, Nicole, through a series of holographic logs and other audio and text files. These new elements provide insight into the troubled state of the couple's relationship and the influence of the mysterious Church of Unitology on Isaac's upbringing. As a result, players will have a deeper understanding of Isaac's mental and emotional struggles, making the story's final twist feel more believable, even though the overall plot remains similar to the original. Space's main protagonist, Isaac, is humanized even further in the remake through his ability to speak, rather than just accepting his crewmates' orders without any response like he did in the original. In this new version, Isaac's voice is provided by actor Gunnar Wright, who also voiced Isaac in the Dead Space sequels. Wright delivers a suitably stoic performance, making Isaac feel like a far more influential figure when he's actively engaging in discussions and debates with other characters, such as Chief Security Officer Hammond. This change in Isaac's character is done sparingly and effectively, as Isaac only speaks when spoken to, and doesn't deliver any unnecessary quips or jokes while he's engaged in battle. Instead, his emotional state is conveyed through his heavy breathing and the sound of his hurried heartbeat, which can be heard in moments of eerie silence, providing a sense of immersion in the game's horror atmosphere. Motive Studios has done an outstanding job in redesigning the spaceship, USG Ishimura, making it a more believable and immersive environment for players. The game's story has also been smartly and subtly enhanced, providing more detail and context to Isaac's journey and the events leading up to the Necromorph outbreak. The side missions, in particular, are a welcome addition to the game, as they allow players to follow a breadcrumb trail of holographic logs that reveal more about the characters and their relationships, as well as the role of the mysterious Church of Unitology in Isaac's upbringing. The action scenes in the game have also been spectacularly reimagined, making them more intense and thrilling than ever before. The game's combat has been refined to provide a more satisfying experience, with a greater variety of enemies, and a wider range of weapons to choose from. Upgrading those weapons this time around offers far more regular rewards, while the layout for each weapon upgrade tree remains similar in terms of interface. All of the pointless empty slots have been removed, meaning there's a tangible benefit for each and every power node you choose to invest, whether it's a boost to clip capacity, reload speed, rate of fire, or damage. Additionally, there are special functions to unlock as you reach the ends of each upgrade path, such as incendiary rounds for the plasma cutter, or an increase to the size of the force gun's gravity swirling alternate fire mode, which bring much-needed buffs to your combat capabilities against the relentless Necromorph waves in Dead Space's dying hours. Overall, Motive Studios has managed to successfully breathe new life into the seminal sci-fi horror universe of Dead Space, despite the fact that I've returned to the 2008 original several times over the years, and found it to hold up fairly well. My latest journey through the darkened hallways of the USG Ishimura still managed to consistently surprise me and pull me into Isaac's plight, far more than ever before, while still satisfying my desire to butcher undead astronauts with an enjoyable arsenal of wildly unsafe mining tools. It's clear that this superb Dead Space remake has been a labor of love for the team at Motive Studios, who have very carefully balanced innovation and renovation with preservation, and to their credit, the end result is undoubtedly the definitive way to experience or re-experience one of the best survival horror shooters that Capcom never made. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel for more such videos.